Welcome to Huddle Leader Training. We're so glad that you've decided to join FCA Motocross and to be a Huddle Leader for this summer's camp. It takes many parts and pieces for the camp to work, many roles and responsibilities. But we understand that the role of Huddle Leader is the one that will have the most contact with our campers. You will be with our campers morning through night. You will be with them during ride time, meal time, activity time, worship time, and especially huddle time. And so we want you to be prepared for what God is going to do through this week of camp. We feel that the best way for us to do that is to give you the expectations ahead of time so that you know what your role holds within this year's motocross camp. The first thing that we expect of our huddle leaders is that you prepare your hearts for this week. This is not going to be an easy week. There's going to be tough decisions to be made, sacrifices on your part, and you will have to be ready to deal with what God has to throw at you. We also want you to know ahead of time that one of the big responsibilities you have and roles that you have is that you are responsible for each one of your campers from the time they show up to camp until the time they leave. Now, we understand that you won't have physical contact with every student at all times, but between the huddle leader and the huddle leader assistant, we expect you to take care of and protect each one of our campers. We have been entrusted with these students, and we need to do our best to make sure they are taken care of and they are growing in Christ through this week. We also expect you to make sure they are where they need to be at the time they need to be there. Now, the next thing that we have for you is huddle time. And this can be a little intimidating for some of you folks that don't do small groups often. But huddle time is very important and key to the week. So we're going to need you to be prepared for every session. You're going to have a huddle time after lunch every day and another huddle time after worship each night. This is the spiritual part of the week. We're going to help you get prepared for that huddle time through one of our other training videos. But we want you to know ahead of time that this is a very important part of your roles and responsibilities as a huddle leader. Another part is the word disciple. We would like to see you disciple your campers. Now, Matthew chapter 28:19, Jesus says, "Go and make disciples." What he's saying is he wants us to go, and that's what we're doing. We're going to camp. It's one of the goes here. And he wants us to make disciples. That means to come alongside of someone, to teach them and show them how to live for Christ. Now that means that we have to be prepared to live for Christ in our own lives, but then we come alongside of these students and we teach them how to walk in Christ. It's a very important role for us, and we're also in this time looking for the next leaders and the next disciple makers within this group. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as a huddle leader, you're a disciple of Christ, making disciples for Christ who will disciple the next generation. If this works properly, the ministry of FCA Motocross will last a long time, and these results will be great. Now, for all of this to happen, we have an expectation of training for you. We're going to have these 4 training sessions, and these huddle leader training sessions will deal with some issues that we think might pop up throughout your week. So we expect you to be at all 4 huddle leader training sessions. We also expect all of our huddle leaders to come to camp the day before and be a part of our staff training session. Now, that puts all the pieces of the staff together. We work together, we do some team building, and we discuss the camp. And that allows us to be prepared that when things arise and we need help, we know who to turn to for each situation. And so we want you to be a part of that. We also expect you to stick around after camp. When all the campers leave, we're going to have a staff get together and we're going to have a staff meeting. And before that, we'll clean up all of the camp, get it packed away so that everybody can leave at the same time. Then we'll sit down and have a short staff meeting. In that staff meeting, we're going to discuss some of our strengths, some of our weaknesses, and some areas that we can improve based on what we've learned this week. We'll also talk about who some of the next leaders in FCA Motocross could be. So be aware of that as you deal with your campers. This is going to be a great week, an awesome week of camp, but we need you to be prepared. So let's join together in all these huddle leader training sessions, and let's be ready to serve God in our best capacity. Welcome to Huddle Leader Training.